Yo, what's up, guys? Teacher Paul here, and I hope you guys are still partying, still keeping optimistic and positive vibes despite the loss to Brazil. The Tartan army needs to be strong right now. Bring that positive vibes and optimism because you guys are not out yet, and there are ways that you guys can still go through. Now, there's like a percentage around 42% that you guys will go through, which I know it's not the best because we did have some bad news yesterday. As I mentioned in my last video, Bosnia and Qatar needed to tie. And although they were close to tying, they didn't. Bosnia won, and Bosnia is next in the next round, and they are above Scotland. So let me just break this down for you guys and kind of bring you some insight on what needs to happen if you guys haven't seen it yet. So Group A, and I will say we regarding Scotland. So we lost Group A because South Korea lost to South Africa. And that was one of the big games that I thought was almost certain for Scotland. Because if South Africa had lost, then they would be below Scotland. And they didn't lose against South Korea, which was a big shock to me. But congratulations to Bafana Bafana for being second place of their group after that loss to Mexico with 2 red cards, which was insane. But we lost Group A. There's nothing Group A can do to help Scotland. So that's the first bad news. The second bad news is Bosnia also won. So they got 4 points. They are also above Scotland. So the two groups that were supposed to help Scotland did not start with a good news. I was certain that Group A was going to help Scotland, but a big upset, South Korea lost. Group B, I knew that Bosnia was going to win. I mentioned that in my last video. So I knew they were going to win. Group B was never going to be anything to help us. Group C is where Scotland and Brazil is. And we saw that Brazil won 3-0. They beat Scotland 3-0. And that leaves Scotland with a -3 goal difference. Now, here's where things get interesting, and here's where things start becoming more optimistic for the Scottish fans. In order for Scotland to move on, they will have to cheer for Germany. Germany needs to beat Ecuador with a goal difference of at least 2. So Germany needs to at least have 2 goals on top of Ecuador so that Ecuador will be below Scotland. And I think there's a good chance of that happening, especially because look at the fixtures. Germany beat Curacao 7-1. Ivory Coast beat Ecuador 1-0. And Germany beat Ivory Coast 2-1. So Ecuador and Curacao, they tied. Is that I didn't watch this game. They tied. That's insane. So you see Germany beat 7-1 and Ecuador tied with Curacao. So that means there's a big chance that Germany can beat Ecuador with at least 2 goals. And that will get Scotland above Ecuador. So that is one chance that that Scotland has. We need 4. We need to be above 4 teams, okay? Ecuador is one of them. So we can technically tick Germany unless they win by 1 point, then that's it for us. But okay, there are more chances. So that's number 1. And I'm counting that Germany will beat Ecuador with more than 2 goals. So that's 1. Number 2, what could happen here in favor of Scotland is Japan beats Sweden. If Japan beats Sweden, and they have to beat Sweden with at least 3 or 4 goals. Now, that is the most improbable thing to happen, but it could happen. So I'm not going to count that in my team counter over here. Remember, we're only counting semi-guaranteed things, which I'm sure that Germany will beat Ecuador, probably with more than 2 goals, hopefully. That will be a point. Okay, so that's one. This one I'm not going to count because I look at this. Netherlands went against Japan. It was 2-2. Sweden went against Tunisia 5-1. Netherlands versus Sweden was 5-1. So technically, Japan can win, but they need to do it by 3 or 4 goals, which I don't know, but it could happen. It could happen, but I'm not too optimistic about that. So I'm just going to leave it at 1 over here. Okay. Then we have Paraguay versus Australia. Here we need to support Australia. Australia needs to win against Paraguay for Scotland to maintain its position above Paraguay. And if we look at the fixtures, Paraguay lost to United States 4-1. Australia beat Turkey 2-0. United States beat Australia 2-0. So you can see that in terms of balance over here, Turkey lost to Paraguay 1-0. So Australia beat Turkey 2-0 and lost to the United States 2-0, while the United States beat Paraguay 4-1 and Turkey just lost by 1. So technically, if you look at these stats, Australia has the upper hand here. So there is a chance that Australia does beat Paraguay. Now, let's say Australia does beat Paraguay, and they need to beat Paraguay with a goal difference of 1. So they only need a 1-0. If they get a 2-0, that's even better. That will be chance number 2 for Scotland. Now, we only need 2 more. We only need to be above 4 teams. So we could be above Ecuador and we could be above Paraguay. Okay? Next, we have more chances. Now, this one is a little bit of a stretch. I don't think this will happen, but this is something that could happen. Senegal losing to Iraq. Now, I know. If that happens, then Senegal will be below Scotland. Now, if that doesn't happen, they need to tie. Senegal, if they win against Iraq, they will be above Scotland because of the goal difference. Because right now, Senegal has a -3 goal difference, which is the same goal difference of Scotland. So if they win, they'll have to have at least 1 goal to win. So 1-0 will give them a goal difference of -2, which will put them above Scotland. So we need Senegal to lose, but I think it's improbable. If they tie, which is possible, then Senegal will be in 3rd place below Scotland. Now let's look at the fixtures over here. France beat Senegal 3-1. Iraq lost to Norway 4-1. France beat Iraq 3-0. Norway went against Senegal and it was 3-2. So Senegal has the upper hand here. So I don't think Senegal will lose, but there is a chance that they can equalize. If it's a draw, it will be okay. So I'm not going to put that in my numbers over here. So we still have 2. 2 which are almost guaranteed, and 2 that are not. Okay, let's keep going. Here we have Spain versus Uruguay. Now, Spain has 2 points. If they lose, Spain has 4 points, Uruguay has 2 points. If Uruguay loses to Spain, then that will be great for Scotland. Then Uruguay will be the 3rd team below Scotland. And the chances of Uruguay losing to Spain are big. So that's something to be optimistic about. That will be the 3rd team. Now, let's say they tie. If they tie, then that's not good news. Okay? But if they do tie, and I don't think they will, because look at that. Although they did tie with Cape Verde, right? Okay. Uruguay tied with Saudi Arabia. But then Spain beat Saudi Arabia 4-0. So one team ties with Saudi Arabia, and then the other beats Saudi Arabia 4-0. You know, it shows a lot. And they did tie with Cape Verde, but Cape Verde is goated. You know, they are playing their best matches. But let's say if Spain ties, then Cape Verde has to lose to Saudi Arabia, which we have just established that Cape Verde has been doing a great job, and I don't think they will lose to Saudi Arabia. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. So Spain absolutely needs to win, and I think that's going to happen. So in the likelihood, I am going to put over here 3 teams below, which would be Ecuador, Paraguay, and Uruguay. Okay, 3 below Scotland. Now, we still have another chance, and the other chance would be Egypt has to beat Iran. They have to beat Iran. If Egypt beats Iran, then Iran will be the 4th team under Scotland. Scotland goes through to the knockout. So you see, the odds are good. But let's look over here. Egypt versus Iran. So Egypt tied with Belgium. Iran tied with New Zealand. Belgium tied with Iran. New Zealand lost to Egypt 3-1. So by the metrics and the data here, Egypt kind of has a better team. And remember, Egypt also went up against Brazil and gave Brazil a hard time in the friendlies. So there's a good chance that Egypt beats Iran. So that would be the 4 teams below Scotland: Ecuador, Paraguay, Uruguay, and Iran. Okay? It's looking good. It's looking optimistic because Egypt does have a good team and they will probably beat Iran. Hopefully. Okay? So we do have a fighting chance, or a waiting chance rather. Now, if this doesn't happen, if they tie, that's not going to be good, because if they tie, then we will not have a team above Scotland. If they do tie, then Belgium needs to lose to New Zealand, and that doesn't seem like it's plausible. So we need Egypt to beat Iran. Okay? Now, there's one more thing that could happen, which, where is it? Croatia and Ghana. This is the last chance. If anything out of those 4 goes wrong, this is the last chance. And the last chance would be if Ghana beats Croatia. Ghana absolutely needs to beat Croatia, and they need to beat Croatia 3-0, or 2-0 actually. They need to have a goal difference of 2-0. Ghana needs to beat Croatia 2-0. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen, because if you look at the fixtures over here, which is Group L, where is it? Let's look at the fixtures. Croatia lost to England 4-2. Ghana beat Panama 1-0. Ghana and England tied, and Croatia beat Panama. So it's a 50-50. Both of them beat Panama 1-0. The only difference is that Ghana tied with England, while Croatia lost to England. So with that, we do have a little bit of hope that Ghana will beat Croatia, and that will be the 5th team below Scotland. So if we do have we only have one of those chances to be able to, if we lose one, we only have 5 chances, I'm telling you. Okay? We only have 5 chances. Oh, actually, we have one more. we have one more. Congo, sorry. Congo has to lose against Uzbekistan, which, with all sincerity, I don't think Congo will lose to Uzbekistan. If we look at the fixtures, Congo tied with Portugal. Uzbekistan lost 5-0 to Portugal. Colombia beat Uzbekistan 3-1, and they beat Congo 1-0. So, in theory, Congo is the better team here, and they will probably beat Uzbekistan. So if if everything goes wrong, we still have Algeria versus Austria. If everything else goes wrong, if we lose 2 of those matches and there's only 3 teams below Scotland, then Algeria needs to beat Austria. Actually, the other way around. Austria needs to beat Algeria. And if Austria beats Algeria, then Austria will be below Scotland. Now, if Algeria beats Austria, they have to do it at a 4-0, which I don't think is going to happen. Now, the good news is that Austria beat Jordan. Algeria lost to Argentina 3-0. Argentina beat Austria 2-0, which is a better score. And if you look over here, Algeria beat Jordan only 2-1. So technically, with the data that we have, Austria is performing better than Algeria. But anything can happen. This is football. Okay, so this was a very thorough breakdown of how Scotland can still go to the next round. Okay, so with all, like for all the effects, we need to support Germany, Japan, Australia. Was it Senegal or Iraq? Iraq. Yeah, we need to support. We don't. Senegal cannot win against Iraq. Spain, Saudi Arabia. See, that's already 6. Egypt, that's 7. New Zealand, that's 8. Ghana, that's 9. Uzbekistan, that's 10. Austria, that's 11. So we do have 11 shots. And through my calculations, 5 of them are almost a given. Because I don't see Spain losing. I don't see Germany losing. Right? So 5 of them are a given. 11 chances. It's not bad, but things need to happen our way. So the Tartan Army, I gave you 11 teams to support while you're waiting. And by Sunday, we will find out if you guys are through to the knockouts or not. I'll say those are good odds. Because if your fate depends on Germany beating Ecuador, that's a given, right? I'm not going to count Japan beating Sweden at 4-0. Not going to count that. Australia beating Paraguay. Okay, that's not exactly a given. Iraq beating Senegal, that's not exactly a given. But Spain beating Uruguay, that's given. So these are like 2 absolutely big chances and almost a given. Saudi Arabia beating Cape Verde, I don't think that's going to happen. Egypt beating Iran, that's a 50-50. Belgium losing to New Zealand, that's not going to happen. Ghana beating Croatia, well, that is also a 50-50. Uzbekistan versus Congo, I don't think that's going to happen. Austria versus Algeria, that's also a 50-50. So right now you have 2 clear givens, and you need 2 more. Out of all those countries that I mentioned, you need 2 more. So there is a 50-50 chance. I think Austria is going to win. I think Egypt's going to win. And that's our 4 teams who will be below Scotland. Ecuador, Paraguay, let me refresh. Ecuador, Paraguay, Senegal, Uruguay, well, and Iran. Senegal, maybe not. But my prediction is going to be Iran, Paraguay, Uruguay, and what's the last one I said? Iran, Uruguay, Paraguay, and Ecuador. That's my theory, and those are the odds. I hope you guys enjoyed. Keep supporting. keep optimistic. We did have 2 bad news. Bosnia went through above Scotland. Congratulations to Bosnia. South Africa went through above Scotland. That one, I thought it was a done deal, but South Korea didn't do a great job. So yeah, South Africa and Bosnia are above Scotland, which was the bad news of the day. And you guys lost 3-0. So that makes things a little bit more difficult because now Germany needs to beat Ecuador with more than 2 goals. And, although that seems easy, it's football. But guys, keep your heads up. By Sunday, we will know. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Keep cheering. Keep your heads up. And share this video with someone who doesn't quite understand and thinks you guys are done. And I don't think you're done. I think you're going to go through. I think this is going to be Cinderella's story. We have 11 chances. 6 are 50-50 and 2 are almost certain. Bye-bye.